The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
$4 billion. Tonight at 6, where Northside council members tried to find room to spend a little more.
And thousands of backlogged domestic violence cases at the Bexar County District Attorney's Office. We have the exact numbers and insight into why they aren't currently dropping.
And a new drought monitor is in. I'll show you where we've had changes, give you a comparison and an update to our rain chances in a few minutes.
But now we move to a conversation that's really dominated the national discourse over the last few days, and that is, what are your constitutional rights?
The show Jimmy Kimmel Live, which aired on KSAT, was suspended indefinitely after the host's remarks over the MAGA movement's response to the killing of Charlie Kirk. Jimmy Kimmel claimed the MAGA movement was trying to score political points by trying to prove Kirk's alleged killer was not one of its own.
And then we saw that this week, Texas State University announced that it suspended a student after he was shown on video appearing to imitate and mock Kirk's death at an event that was honoring the conservative activist.
So what is freedom of speech? Erica Hernandez explains what the First Amendment protects and how private companies, universities, and employers factor in.
It's a conversation we've been having in the newsroom. Freedom of speech. It's one of the most cited parts of the Constitution. But constitutional experts say there's a catch many people don't realize, and that's that the First Amendment only protects you from the government.
A private company, if you sign a contract and you agree not to say certain things on the air, for instance, or certain things in the workplace, then you can be penalized for that.
St. Mary's constitutional law professor Al Kaufman says that's how the Constitution has been interpreted for many years. Right now, he said it appears the government is overreaching.
The Federal Communication Commission can pressure media companies. The Department of Education can pressure private universities. So that does bring up First Amendment issues because the government is taking action based on the speech of a university or a private company.
In the case of universities, he says public ones should be very careful with how they are handling situations.
But in general, especially for public universities, university faculty and students should be able to see whatever their wish. Of course, as long as they're not endangering someone.
Overall, he believes the First Amendment should be protected and followed, but it all depends on how you interpret it.
I want the First Amendment right to criticize those who bother me, but I don't want people to use their powers to criticize me. So that's always the problem with the First Amendment, on whether the speech is being for you or against you. But the government's supposed to be neutral on that.
Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
And tonight at 10, we're going to bring you an hour-long edition of The Night Beat. This is a result of ABC's decision to pull Jimmy Kimmel Live off of the air indefinitely. So what's in a more than $4 billion budget? Well, if you ask some city council members, apparently not enough police officers.
City Hall reporter Garrett Berger joins us to explain that. All right, Garrett, so what are they basing that off of?
Well, the city of San Antonio has had a plan the past couple of years to add 360 additional patrol officers over the course of about 5 years. That's to allow them for more time to do what they call proactive policing. That's stuff like checking out regular trouble spots, traffic enforcement, or patrolling for car burglars. Now, facing a budget crunch this year, city staff only proposed including 25 officers toward that goal in last month's draft budget. And though that number later got bumped up to 40, Northside council members still wanted more today. The plan, they said, had once been to add 65.
Backtracking on that promise is nothing short of government malpractice. Public safety is our highest priority. All the other things that we want to do not matter if our citizens do not feel safe.
But adding blue uniforms cost greenback dollars. Now, there were two proposals to pay for it. One, by dipping into money for replacing computers and funding for delicate agencies, and another by pulling from a police overtime budget meant to cover patrol districts when they have open spots. Now, both ideas got shot down. The 4 Northsiders versus everyone else. Now, it's not just a money issue, though this has been a tight budget year with cuts and fee increases. There's also a question by some council members over whether this is the best policy to tackle public safety issues. Now, only 3 of the current council members were on council when this idea first came up, but a majority have been around long enough to vote on budgets for when they have been adding these officers in the past. Live downtown, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
All right, Garrett, thank you. Also at City Hall today, council members voted against Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones' push to have members resubmit any policy proposals. That vote was 9-2. Mayor Jones has been trying to get the city council to resubmit policy changes that were filed before the newly elected city council took office. But now policy proposals cannot be changed even with a new city council being elected. This comes after last week when 4 council members signed a memorandum suggesting the process be amended.
So imagine being in your last term of office. Why would you even file a CCR that could take a year, year and a half to be worked on if the minute you're gone and termed out, the CCR expires and the process would have to start over again?
CCR stands for Council Consideration Request. That's those proposals. Mayor Jones and District 4 Councilman Edward Munguia were the only 2 who voted against this measure today. Tonight, we're learning it could take weeks to figure out how a former staffer for Congressman Tony Gonzalez died in Uvalde. This is 35-year-old Regina Santos Aviles.
As she passed away over the weekend, and a family member says that was after she caught on fire.
KSAT investigates Daniela Ibarra first broke this story. She's been spending the day in Uvalde today trying to learn more about Regina Santos Aviles and what happened to her.
Neighbors say this entire street was filled with police and EMS on Saturday night. Through speaking with family members, we've learned that Regina Santos Aviles was on fire outside of her home here in Uvalde. They say she was actually in front of the porch, and her last words were, "I don't want to die." Uvalde police say they responded to the home around 9:30 on Saturday night, along with firefighters and paramedics. Family members I spoke with are adamant that they believe this was an accident. One of the family members even mentioned that there was a water hose outside. According to her LinkedIn page, Santos Aviles was the regional director for U.S. Congressman Tony Gonzalez's office in Uvalde since November of 2021. Neighbors we spoke with say she was well known here in Uvalde. And many people we spoke with also described her as a nice person who loved her job. In a statement, Congressman Tony Gonzalez says he is heart-stricken, noting that Regina was passionate about making Uvalde a better place. Uvalde police say they're investigating this incident along with the Texas Rangers. We asked Uvalde police for an interview, but they declined. We've also reached out to the Texas Rangers to find out why they're involved in this investigation, and we'll continue to update with what we find out. In Uvalde, I'm Daniela Ibarra, KSAT Investigates.
Let's take a look outside with live cam here this evening at 6 o'clock. We've been looking at this view the past couple of days, and just like in the past couple of days, we watched some showers out there a little bit earlier. Adam Caskey will have an update on that coming up. Are we safe? That's what some people are asking after an especially violent weekend in San Antonio.
You know that 10 people were shot between Saturday morning and Sunday night.
Katrina Weber shows us why police still say there's no need to be overly concerned.
From one neighborhood to another, San Antonio police found a weekend of trouble. Shootings that covered the map and targeted 10 people, killing 4.
I did the other day tell my son, I said, well, did you hear that? I said, it sounded like gunshots.
Diana Blanquez lives on Shady Grove Drive, the west side street where 2 people were wounded.
We hear gunshots and stuff all the time.
Yeah, so
it's pretty much like you get used to it.
For the city at large, though, 10 shooting victims within 2 days is unusual.
I think this weekend is unfortunate, and we've got to do everything possible to ensure people feel safe, are safe.
Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones made the comments Tuesday on KSAT 12 News. At City Hall, Police Chief William McManus also addressed the violence.
Much of the violent crime in this city and every city is due to risky behavior.
Hot tempers and heated words, he says, are what often lead to gunfire.
I will say that 100% the city is safe.
We found out that idea depends on who you ask.
I live in a pretty safe part of the city. I think there's segments of the city that are better than others.
Is it a safe city like the chief says?
Not like it used to be, no.
In a statement earlier this week, SAPD's Public Information Office echoed that safe city sentiment, pointing out that homicides are down. Well, technically that's right, but according to the numbers, it's more of a flat line. 83 so far this year compared to 86 at the same time last year. There were 127 homicides in all of 2024. McManus is hoping things cool down now so the numbers stay down. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Hey, now we're going to take a live look outside and show you a picture that, frankly, I love to show you. This is the Loop 410 at the Exchange Parkway right there, and you're seeing that traffic is flowing very smoothly. No traffic in that area to speak of. Other news now, the backlog in criminal domestic violence cases in Bexar County has really been an issue for years. We've talked about it all the time, and our Courtney Friedman has been doing extensive reporting on this. Yesterday, she told us that prosecutors in Bexar County still need to get through 6,200 domestic violence cases.
So clearing the backlog means keeping survivors safe and offering them justice. Yet the DA's office says they don't have enough resources to fully eliminate the backlog right now.
So our Courtney Friedman looked into why that is, what the solution may be, and also what it would take to get there.
Domestic violence, child abuse cases, they are by far the hardest cases to prosecute. It takes a special kind of person.
Melly Powers has been with the Bexar County District Attorney's Office for 20 years during 3 different administrations, but became the chief of the Family Violence Division in 2019 when Joe Gonzalez was elected. That's when I stopped by for the first time.
We are hoping to increase the number of prosecutors.
And in 2019, yes, when you came, our backlog on the felony cases was about 3,300 cases.
They also walked into a slew of misdemeanor cases. These are all the intake cases that have come from law enforcement and are waiting to be reviewed, processed, and sent to the courts.
I asked the DA's office for their total backlog numbers since 2019. They said they didn't have records for 2020 and 2021. But let's start with the felonies here in red. They begin with more than 3,300 cases. It comes all the way down to 645 in 2022 and then steadily rises to over 2,100 right now. The misdemeanor records in blue start at just over 3,200 cases, dipping down to over 1,100 in 2023 and rising back up to almost 4,000 now. And we do need to add some of these misdemeanor cases are already out of the DA's office, but they're still sitting on court dockets, so they are included in the backlog.
Powers said their work has been hit by a number of obstacles.
And we get through a pandemic and we have the staffing issues and we have an increase in over 100% of our incoming caseload. So we have Odyssey, which is it really gave us a number of technological issues that we're still working through.
The skyrocketing caseload adds to her greatest concern, which is staffing.
This room at the DA's Domestic Violence Division sits empty because there are so many vacancies for attorneys right now. A few years ago, it was 38% vacancies, and right now, it's about 50%.
And those numbers are just for misdemeanor attorneys. The felony side is struggling too.
Typically what I see is that they are leaving for better paying jobs.
Last month during budget talks, DA Joe Gonzalez asked the Commissioner's Court if he could reclassify certain lawyers so they could be paid more, but the county denied it, saying the salaries were already above market rate.
This court has provided assistance to us in the past. You had the salary study of 2023. Last year you did the compression resolution and retention resolution that we were very grateful for. But unfortunately that has not stopped the bleeding. We still see a number of our experienced prosecutors leaving.
The county budget office told KSAT last year they gave the DA over $65,000 to upgrade domestic violence attorney positions and then almost $100,000 for 13 pay raises for the prosecutors. One option other district attorneys' offices are using across the state is the Texas Advocacy Project, which provides free attorneys to resource-strapped counties. Powers said, in the current administration, we have not partnered or collaborated with them, not to say we wouldn't. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
When DA cases are processed, they're sent on to the courts. So that's where we're heading next to see how judges are handling all of these cases. Courtney went to the courthouse to see what backups they may be seeing and how they're handling that. She'll share that report in the coming days. Happening right now, our KSAT community partners are hosting a phone bank to help people with disabilities move independently. Project Mend and their mission. We'll show you how you can help. Project Mend is lending a hand to help those who need medical mobility equipment. That is their mission. They've joined our KSAT community partners for a live phone bank here this evening, happening right now at the KSAT studio. Stephania has hopped out of the studio and into the phone bank. Stephania, we can see the number right there on the screen by you. So how can people at home get involved here?
Well, obviously, the easiest way is by calling the number that you see on your screen. And I'm looking down at my paper because I don't want to get it wrong. It's 210-351-1363. And, you know, Project Mend is all about helping people live their lives independently so that they could move around better. And there are all these volunteers right now eagerly accepting your phone call so that you could donate money and call in. Joining us now live is one of the volunteers, also the board, the chair, and it's Eduardo Di Loreto. Thank you so much for joining us today. So first of all, if somebody is watching at home and they're wondering, okay, so how much does it take? You were saying that the number one most requested thing is a wheelchair. Okay. How much does it take if people start donating money? How much money does it take to supply one wheelchair?
One wheelchair starts at $120, $125. So the larger it is, the more expensive, and then of course more complex, but it's about $125.
Okay, and let's say that somebody is at home right now watching, and they're saying, okay, I might not be able to donate, but you know what, I need a wheelchair or I need a walker. How do they get started?
Just call us to our main number that is in our webpage, and we will have one of our staff members take their numbers. They only need a doctor's prescription, and they will basically they can get the equipment, depending if we have it in inventory or not. They can get it as quick as the next day.
Okay, and if somebody donates today, how long will it take for that donation to go through and for the person on the receiving end to get the equipment that they need?
Great. Depending on the demand and pipeline, we can get it out as soon as 24 hours, depending on how, yes. So those wheelchairs, rollators, walkers, we need a lot. We have high demand, and we can get them refurbished, sanitized, and out of the door the next day.
Okay. And this hotline right here where people are calling, this is going to go on until 7 o'clock tonight. But then you guys have an event on Saturday from 9 to 2 where people can go and actually drop off any medical equipment that they have, right? Tell us about that.
Correct. We have the donation drive on Saturday from 9 to 2 p.m. We're going to have 3 locations that you can find either in KSAT webpage and also projectmend.org. And you can find those 3 that are going to be simultaneously. For the first time, we're going to be there, so people can just come and drop off all the equipment they have. We'll receive them. And if they cannot stop by, please call us that we will pick it up for them.
Projectmend.com?
Yeah, .org.
.org. Okay, yes. Thank you so much, Eduardo, for joining us and telling us. I love that it's getting loud here.
Yes,
because a lot of people
thank
are
you so
calling.
much to KSAT for
Thank
supporting.
you so much for that. Okay, now we're going to take things outside, or at least tell you what's happening outside and get you ready for Friday Eve and also for Friday tomorrow. Let's send things on over to our meteorologist, Adam Caskey. What's going on?
Yeah, Friday Eve, more like Thermometer Thursday, baby. Hashtag ThermThurs. Got that coming up next half hour. And actually what's going on outside right now is we've got one little downpour, one thunderstorm. This is the shower, the little shower that could, just north of Hallettsville right now. You see this heavy downpour? This has already dropped over an inch of rain, has a little bit of lightning associated with it. You see those white lines there? That indicates the lightning strike. So those of you in Hallettsville, just getting clipped if you're just north of Highway 90, in the Hallettsville area, up 77. You're getting that downpour. Consider yourself lucky, just almost stretching over to Moulton and Shiner. But otherwise, it's pretty quiet for the rest of us. We do have a few showers southeast of town. This is what we mean when we talk about the coastal plain and areas a little bit closer to the Gulf Coast. This is that action. And this right on the Wilson and Karnes County line there in southern Atascosa. These will be pretty quick splash and dash, except for the one in Hallettsville. That's actually going to be able to sustain itself a bit. Okay, drought monitor time. We're going to start with last week so I can give you a good comparison. I'm going to step off so you can see it here at full screen. This is last week, 3, 2, 1, and this week. You see how the drought expanded eastward from San Antonio, basically up I-35, east along Highway 90 and I-10, and even a little bit to the southeast. So we saw an expansion of the drought conditions, and now 21% of Texas is considered in drought, whereas the previous drought monitor from last week, 19% of Texas was considered in drought. And we had to drop the rain chances a little bit because this weather pattern that we're in, or we're getting into, is really not very reliable beyond about 3 days. Okay, the science just isn't there with the type of systems that we're seeing. So 20% chance as we get into next week, a 10% chance over the weekend. High thin cloud streaming overhead. That's nice. Should give us a pretty good sunset. Still under the influence of the upper level high over Mexico, but there are disturbances out there. Look, one wound up in the upper Midwest, Dakotas, Minnesota, and Iowa, dumping some rain. Another one dropping rain in California and parts of the desert Southwest. Now the upper level high, it's going to be a little confused in next week. It still just doesn't really know exactly where it's going, what it's going to do. But there will be some disturbances out there. If we can get that upper high to scooch out, it would open the door for one of those disturbances. So right now, a 20% chance. Tropical storm Gabrielle, that's headed toward Bermuda, likely to become a Category 1 hurricane, and then arcing off to the northeast, staying out over the open ocean and not impacting us. What's steering it is actually another upper level high, the Bermuda high, that's out in the ocean, and that's going to steer that up and around. All right, let's talk about our weather. It's more of the same the next few days. Low 70s in the mornings, low 90s in the afternoons, and slight rain chances here and there this weekend on into the early part of next week. But check back for updates because this is a very squirrely weather pattern, as I like to call it. All right, Saturday, it's coming around. I'm going to be there. I know Myra's going to be there. We've got the Texas Eats Food Festival, Boeing Center at Techport. You can get your tickets. Now, VIP tickets have sold out. That's what I heard from David Elder. The VIP tickets have sold out, but the general admission tickets still available. Starts at 4 p.m. Come get you some. All right, we'll be right back in a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't bet against Jadeveon, but we don't have to make that decision now. You know, we're certainly going to do what we think is in the best interest of the team, and what's in the best interest of the team is he might be active and he might not.
Jadeveon Clowney says he's ready to play, but Coach Shoddy sounds 50-50 if his new defensive end will go Sunday in Big Board Sports. Week 4 and big game coverage will kick off at the top of the hour. In one of our games tonight, we'll see a district matchup between the John Jay Mustangs at the Southwest Legacy Titans. Jay is 3-0 and 1-0 in District 14-5A D1. Legacy has the same record. Jay is number 7 and Southwest Legacy is number 11 in 12's top 12 Class 5A rankings. Jay is seeking its third straight 4-0 start. Now they beat the Titans 9-3 last season in their only meeting. And the other game we plan to shoot tonight, we'll see the undefeated Alamo Heights Mules at the Clemens Buffaloes in a non-district contest. Both will start district play next week. The Mules are 3-0 and averaging 55 points per game on offense. Clemens is 2-1, losing to Taft in their opener before winning their next 2 games. Clemens is number 8 in KSAT 12-6A rankings, while Alamo Heights is number 2 in 12's top 12 5A rankings. Alamo Heights is looking to extend its regular season winning streak to 33 games. You can catch the highlights of this one and Jay Southwest Legacy tonight on the Night Beat. As for our game of the week tomorrow night, it'll see Smithson Valley at Bernie Champion. Kick is set for 7 p.m. Dallas Cowboys starting center Cooper Beebe needed some help off the field Sunday after suffering an injury. Coach Shoddy said he's dealing with a foot and will likely be out 6 to 8 weeks. And this means backup guard number 67, Brock Hoffman, will start at center, having stepped into the role in overtime against the Giants. And Shoddy likes Hoffman and digs his mentality.
Again, very pleased that we got a guy like Brock Hoffman that can step in, and Brock ended up playing some important minutes, into overtime and against a damn good front. I thought Brock did really, really well, and so Beebs will do whatever he can to get back, but it looks like it's going to be that 6 to 8 week period. The intensity the guy plays with, the trash that he talks is kind of fun and cool. He gets underneath the defenders, gets in their heads a little bit. But yeah, his play style is just he's wired the right way, man. And our guys love it, but he's definitely one of the leaders in that room.
Beebe has moved to the injured reserve and will miss a minimum of 4 games before being allowed to return. C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans are 0-2, just like they were in 2023 in his rookie campaign. They bounced back that season to make the playoffs, so all is not lost when you consider they've dropped both their games this season by a combined 6 points.
They were really close, we're like 1 or 2 plays away from, winning tight games against good teams, and it's only 2 weeks in, so, we're still building, still growing, still, getting used to playing with one another, so, but yeah, we're very close.
I just want to ask you, is it
difficult to not get the results as quickly as you would otherwise like it, and how do you handle that?
Of course, yeah, it's not like ideal, but what you gonna do, cry about it and, you know, like just be a Debbie Downer? I don't know. There's time and place for that, but I think like 2 weeks in, can't lose your mind, but also can't be too relaxed. So it's a little bit of a balance.
Houston will play in 1-1 Jacksonville Sunday at noon. We'll be right back after the break.
Happening now, San Antonio firefighters are on the scene of a burning home on the far west side.
Yeah, so here, let's take a live look at that scene. This is in the Figueroa Canyon neighborhood. That's off of North Ellison Drive near Highway 151.
So you can see the damage there, especially along the garage. We're still learning more details about the fire, also trying to find out if anybody was injured. So as soon as we get an update on this, we will let you know. In other news now, we have more breaking news this evening. The Texas Tribune reporting just moments ago that the president of Texas A&M University, Mark Welsh III, is stepping down.
So this comes after a week of turmoil for the university after a video of a student confronting a professor over discussions of gender identity in a children's literature course. Welsh was criticized by state lawmakers for not immediately firing the professor in question, initially saying that he would not do so.
Yeah, Welsh has been A&M's president since 2023.
All right, it's about that time. Almost time for the weekend. We're all going to get there.
On a lighter note.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're so excited about that. Our good friend Stephanie Guerra is here because she's always in the know. She knows what's going on, and she's here to join us for our weekly segment, Puro Picks.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Oh, yeah. I'm always happy to be here with the bright spots in our week.
You know, you lighten the mood, so let's
Yes.
do that. Okay, let's talk about, I had some questions about this one, Parking Day. What's going on there?
Yeah, I think this is a really cool initiative called Park parentheses in Day, where we celebrate playing in the street, right? But in this case, we want to turn parking spots into art. So it's kind of like a model for what we could envision: more art spaces, more locally owned businesses, more fun, interactive things to do instead of just maybe big empty streets or big parking lots or parking garages, some interactive fun. So Centro San Antonio kicks off this initiative. It is tomorrow during the day. So if you work downtown, or if you can get downtown, if you're at school at UTSA downtown, come on over and celebrate. It starts at 10 a.m. You're gonna see really cool activations. I mean, it really truly looks like a whole nother world. Like if you were in a mini hemisphere, but in the street, you know? So it's a lot of fun. It's free, it's all ages. And it really is on how to reimagine our streets to be safer, greener, and people powered.
Okay. And there's another event that's happening tomorrow night. It's the Hispanic Heritage Month, which continues, and this is a celebration specifically that's happening over at Stable Hall, which is a beautiful venue.
Yes, we love this venue, and I do love how diverse and cultural Stable Hall's programming has been. So this month, for Hispanic Heritage Month, on Friday nights, you can go for free to hear great Latino music by local bands. So tomorrow night, it will be Sonora Hechicera, and they are going to be playing music. Doors are at 6. The show starts at 7:30, but it's just a great way to, like, you know, enjoy the evening, enjoy our culture, go see for free. The Pearl has a lot of history in the Mexican-American community with the Pearl Brewery and all the people that helped build that area. So I think it's a really great spot to celebrate. And if you can't make tomorrow, it's a weekly series through mid-October.
And if music is your thing, this next one might be as well, right? Texas Women's Songwriters Festival.
I love music because it brings us together and uplifts us. And I think this is a really cool event. So the Texas Women's Songwriters Festival will be right outside of San Antonio in Lockhart. But this is going to be over 50 women artists performing all weekend long at 10, 12, 15 venues in downtown Lockhart. So really cool, and some great names that I love that are headlining the festival are Rosie Flores, Tish Hinojosa, Sarah Hickman, and Kimmy Rhodes. We have so many amazingly talented musicians. They're going to do some free song swaps, so even if you're just getting started, you can go and play your music there. The headliner tickets do start at $25, but there are a lot of free events.
And Lockhart is just so cute.
It is cool.
We love downtown Lockhart. There's so many local businesses to explore. But I mean, you don't really see any festivals like this anywhere else. I know there's a Lilith Festival, Lilith Fair documentary coming out. I think this week or next. That is exciting. But we haven't had a lot of women-powered festivals, so this will be really cool to see right in our own backyard.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's Oktoberfest at La Villita, also happening starting tomorrow through Sunday.
Yes, I think a lot of people forget that Oktoberfest is celebrated in September, right? So in Germany, if you're celebrating, it is actually in September. La Villita is bringing this back for their second year. It's family friendly. Last year, my husband did the sign holding contest against Chef Johnny Hernandez. That was a lot of fun to watch. There's a culinary showcase. So Chef Johnny is bringing amazing culinary guests to cook and do demos all weekend long. And of course, you'll have European food, German food and culture, and the music, right? Like another place to hear amazing sounds of Europe. And San Antonio obviously has a great German culture, another great place to celebrate.
Okay, this next one I want to hear more about. Cuídate Real Conversations. What is that?
I'm talking about all the ladies this weekend.
That's right.
So I love these two women, Very That and Chasing Camila. I have mentioned them before. They are local small business owners. They are putting together an event called Cuídate, which means take care of yourself, right? Self-care event. They want to talk about community, finances, wellness, and they have some special guests that are coming. So Angel Aviles, she is very well known for a movie called Mi Vida Loca. And then we have Representative Linda Garcia, so is here in Texas, and Luz We Trust is her social media, where she teaches how to empower people through finances. And then our very own Erica Prosper is moderating this. It's just going to be a great day of community. There are some VIP tickets online. They start at $10. I think there's also some free opportunities to attend. It's at Brick at Blue Star, but man, is this an empowering event. These two have partnered up before, and it's just a really great way to celebrate our community, women, health, finances, wellness, everything that we need to really take care of ourselves, especially right now.
Well, especially as we look forward to the future. There's another event, the Youth Voter and Poll Worker Fest. That's happening on Saturday.
Yeah, so a lot going on Saturday. This one is really important. So we celebrated National Voter Registration Day this week, and Youth Do Vote is a local nonprofit, and they are hosting an actual Youth Voter and Poll Worker Festival. So if you know any youth, like high school age, college age, who need to be registered to vote, or if you want to get more involved in becoming a poll worker and becoming a voter registration registrar and learning more about voting policies, this is going to happen tomorrow at Our Lady of the Lake University. There's some civic leaders that'll be there. Just a really informative, fun way to learn about voting and all the do's and do nots of voting as well. But we really want to focus on getting more people registered to vote, right? Because our voice matters, and we need to get ready for November elections and all elections, right? Local, statewide, government elections across the country. But this is a really fun way to do it, and I'm proud of Youth Do Vote for hosting this event.
Absolutely, got something for everybody this week. Stephanie, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me back for Puro Picks.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Bye.
We'll be right back. All right, look outside with live cam. Just kind of steady Eddie this week, hanging out in the 90s.
And you know, did we forget that it's Friday Eve? Come on, there's lots to celebrate. And maybe I'm just in the Friday mood because Stephanie Guerra also joined us in the previous segment, so maybe I'm just ready for the weekend. All right, Adam, get us started with that. It's 91 degrees out there right now.
Yeah, and looking ahead, we're going to see very similar temperatures. 92, 93 for the high pretty much every day going forward. I really do think the triple-digit heat is a thing of the past. Bye-bye. In the rearview mirror. Now, the latest 100-degree day on record, September 28th. So we have had it in late September. I just think the triple digits are behind us for the year, and we have 20 triple-digit days this year. We've got a thermometer winner, a special thermometer Thursday, and I'll talk more about what we're watching in the tropics in just a bit. Wanted to switch it up a little bit. Do the therm winner first, the homemade thermometer winner, Ashley Mitchell of San Antonio. I just sent you the winning email to confirm. And why not? Just because. Happy Therm Thurs, everybody. Oh, I love it. Go to ksat.com/thermometer to enter the drawing. Ashley, not everybody gets confetti. Yeah, I keep extra poppers in my desk.
I should have known that.
Yeah, and I do keep my Canyon de Casquiron behind the set with, it's basically always loaded.
You can't be too prepared, you know.
No, never be too prepared for confetti. Confetti is necessary. It's not a party without confetti, and winning a thermometer now with confetti. Might just make it a weekly thing. Out near Hallettsville, the thunder shower is starting to die off a little bit. Near I-10 in Lavaca County, northern Gonzales County, where we have some of that action. Some high clouds moving overhead. That's going to make for a good sunset this evening. I do want to point out the drought monitor is in. I gave you the comparison earlier. This orange and brown area has spread eastward, so we've increased the drought coverage, unfortunately, compared to this time last week. And now 21% of Texas is considered in drought. It's basically right here in our backyard, and then along the Rio Grande and on into far west Texas is where we have the worst drought. Now you look at the rainfall over the past 30 days compared to average, and you see where we really had some winners out there. Fredericksburg, 153% of their average rainfall over the past 30 days. Hondo, Uvalde, over 170% of the average rainfall, just lesser amounts in some of the areas south and east of town. Rain chances, unfortunately, we had to drop them a little bit. It's a finicky weather pattern and more like what I call a squirrely weather pattern because very erratic and unpredictable beyond about 3 days in this type of weather pattern. Want to talk about Tropical Storm Gabrielle. Likely to slowly strengthen as it heads toward Bermuda, Category 1 hurricane, and then arc eastward and probably stay out over the open ocean. We're also watching 20% chance of development just off the African coastline. That's way out. It's right behind Gabrielle, basically. And then also in the Pacific, we have an 80% chance of development. Should this develop, the remnants of it would likely move into the lower 48 here as we get into next week, but I think it would get deflected up and away from our neck of the woods. 91 right now, the high was 92. 84 at 10 o'clock. By midnight, we're 79. Tomorrow, we start the day just like the past few days, right near 70 degrees in the morning. 71 in town, 69 Helotes, Poteet, 68 in the morning. Nixon, Smiley, about 67. And then by noon, we're 86, 93 in the afternoon. A lot of sunshine tomorrow. We can't rule out one of those stray showers closer to the Gulf Coast, but generally, I think we'll be dry again. Rio Medina, 92 tomorrow, along with Bulverde and Poteet, topping out at 93. No big variation in temperatures going forward, that's for sure. Just check back in for updates on those rain chances in this rather unpredictable pattern we're getting in. Hey, I'm here with David Hurtado of KSAT 12. Now, show me what you picked up.
Okay, so I found this at an antique store.
So cool.
It's a B. Corti, Glasgow, Scotland barometer, and it's what they call a stick barometer, Kasky. And check this out. So you open it up, and there's the little mercury.
There's the mercury,
ball. Yeah. So I did some research on it, Kasky, and cool. This maker, B. Corti, in Glasgow, worked between like the late 1700s, early 1800s. So this could be like maybe 1820, but the thing that I'm heartbroken about, Kasky, is if you look here, I had it in my car and the thermometer burst because I didn't realize until you had pointed out it only goes up to 90, what is that, about 95 you say?
Yep.
And you know, our cars get to 100 plus?
Yep. So unfortunately, he had it in his car to bring it in today so we could feature it because he just picked this up last weekend and was eager to show me. And I was actually going to fix the thermometer that had a bunch of air pockets in it, and at least attempt to fix, and I really think I could have. It was in his car. He ran into the grocery store. Aww. And he had the sunshade up, but I said, yeah, but that thermometer only goes to just over 90. Because in Glasgow, in Scotland, they don't need that kind of range.
They don't know about that.
Yeah, they don't know about that,
they
exactly.
Ain't about that life.
So we're gonna look into see what we could do next, see if he wants me to put one of mine on there, whatever. I don't know. It's an antique, so having a new one on there would look kind of funny, but who knows?
Mashup.
Mashup, there we go. KSAT.com/thermometer to enter the drawing.
That's a good one.
Yeah, he's looking at all the confetti down there.
I know.
It's a
I was
solid
honestly
shot.
watching your entire forecast.
It was, me too. On the corner of my eyes.
We'll be right back.
Limmering.
We have a jam-packed schedule for tonight. So here's a look at what's on ABC Primetime. At 7 o'clock, we have Celebrity Family Feud. And then at 9 o'clock, Robert Redford, the life and legacy of an American icon. And then at 10 o'clock, our hour-long night beat followed by Texas Eats at 11 p.m. And we'll be right back.